Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and happy book birthday, None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. Today, None Shall Sleep is released here in Australia. It is being published by Alan and Unwin, who very kindly sent me this review copy. And you know, much happy dancing happened when this book arrived. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my channel, I am a big fan of Ellie Marney's work. She writes young adult Australian fiction, and this book is slightly different to some of her previous books, but it is right up my alley, and I can't wait to talk to you a little bit about it. This book is actually set in the early 1980s, and it is set in America, which is a bit different from Ellie's other books. And it really takes place within the FBI's behavioral science unit. It's been a while since I watched Mindhunters or even Criminal Minds, but trust me, that stuff is right up my alley. I love that sort of side of FBI stories where they actually look at criminal profiling. The basic premise of this story is that there is a serial killer on the loose and he's killing teenagers. The lead agent in charge, Agent Cooper, decides that he really needs information from juvenile offenders who have been caught in order to try and get into the mindset of this current murder case, this current case that's happening. But all of the juvenile offenders that they have in custody won't talk to any of the adult agents. They just shut down and refuse to cooperate. So he has the idea to bring in some teenagers who have some experience of things, I'll go into that a bit later on, to try and interview these teenage offenders because he thinks that those offenders will open up to people their own age. Enter Emma Lewis and Travis Bell. Emma Lewis is a survivor of a serial killer, and we get her story woven throughout this one, so we never get a full, complete flashback. We mostly get how Emma is dealing with it in the current day, which I think is really important because it was, she has a very, very traumatic backstory, but that's never front and center of this story. So it does take some of that edge off it for the reader, but it is important to know that she went through something highly, highly traumatic. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you're thinking you're going to read this, because it could be potentially triggering for some people. And then we have Travis, who is training to be a US Marshal, and he has experience with serial killers because his father was killed by one. So both of them have these really unique connections to this world. And when Agent Cooper invites them in, I think Travis kind of jumps on the idea of doing it because it's really good experience for his future career. Emma is a little bit hesitant at first, but then she's sort of gripped by the idea, and so she joins this little two-man interview squad too. They're only going to be working on cold cases and interviewing people who have already been apprehended, and they start off and they work out it's not as easy as it sounds, and it is very emotionally draining for both of them. And they have this list of people to interview, and they're not being involved in any way, shape or form in the current case until Agent Cooper receives a letter from 19-year-old Simon Gutmanson, who is a sociopath and a notorious serial killer in his own right. Eventually, Emma goes in to interview him, and that's sort of where this story really, really takes off, because Simon has information about the current case, and so Emma and Travis find themselves really being drawn into this case and this world and trying to find the answers because they have a unique perspective. Honestly, this book gave me chills. Like it's kind of creepy. So if you're someone who is easily creeped out, I would read this during daylight hours. I was surprisingly okay with it. And I love the exploration of interviewing offenders, thinking about profiles and unpacking motives. It was honestly, no book ever about murder and killers and things like that is ever a great read in terms of it being entertaining, but it was very gripping and it was a really great read. I kind of wish there were more books about all of these characters because I just find them deeply fascinating. I know that Ellie did a huge amount of research into this to portray it accurately, and anything that involves the FBI or any of those agencies needs to be vetted. This was just such a gripping read, and I'm so glad that I read it. I'm usually not big on psychological thrillers, but this one I loved. So I highly recommend it. So happy book birthday, None Shall Sleep. I will leave links to where you can check it out down below. Let me know if you're planning on reading the book because honestly, I can't recommend it enough. I hope that you're doing really well, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.